At some point in your life, it hit you. Maybe you were a child. Maybe you were lying in bed at night. Maybe you were watching someone you loved disappear. But there was a moment when you understood something no other creature on this planet has ever understood. You are going to die. Not maybe. Not someday in a vague, abstract sense. You, specifically, are going to stop existing. And the moment you understood that, something changed. Something that can never be undone. Because here's what's strange. Every living thing on Earth dies. Every animal, every insect, every plant. Death is the most universal fact in nature, but only one species knows it's coming. Only one species lies awake at night thinking about it. Only one species builds monuments to escape it. Only one species invented religion, philosophy, and art trying to make sense of it. You are that species. And the story of how you got this way is stranger than you think. Let's start with what animals actually understand about death, because they understand more than you'd expect, just not quite enough. Elephants are one of the most studied species when it comes to death awareness. When an elephant dies, the herd often stays near the body for days. They touch the bones with their trunks. They return to the same spot years later. Researchers have documented elephants carrying the skulls of dead companions for miles with no apparent purpose. In 2016, a study published in the journal Royal Society Open Science documented a mother elephant in Kenya carrying her dead calf for 3 days, refusing to leave it behind. Chimpanzees do something similar. In 2010, researchers at a sanctuary in Cameroon filmed a mother chimpanzee carrying her dead infant for 27 days. She groomed it. She shared food with it. She continued to behave as if it were alive. Crows hold what researchers call funerals. When a crow dies, other crows gather around the body in silence. They don't eat it. They don't leave immediately. They simply stand there. Scientists believe this behavior serves a practical purpose. The crows are scanning for danger. A dead crow means something killed it, something that might still be nearby. And this is the crucial difference. Animals understand death as an event, something that happens, something to respond to. But they don't understand death as a destination. They don't understand that every single day they are moving toward it, that every heartbeat is one fewer heartbeat remaining. You do. So when did humans figure this out? The answer is buried in caves. In 2023, archaeologists announced the discovery of a burial site in South Africa dating back approximately 300,000 years. The site belonged to Homo naledi, a species with a brain roughly 1/3 the size of yours. They were burying their dead, deliberately, with apparent care, long before modern humans existed. This changed everything scientists thought they knew about the origins of death awareness, because burial is not instinct. Burial is a response to something. It means understanding that the person in front of you is not coming back. It means the others watching understood the same thing. In southwestern France, the Neanderthal burial sites at La Ferracie are over 70,000 years old. Archaeologists found bodies placed in specific positions, some with flowers, some with tools, some facing east toward the rising sun. Nobody taught them to do this. No one told them the sun represented rebirth. They figured it out themselves because they understood something was ending and they were trying to respond to it. But here's the part that separates us from every other species. We don't just understand that we will die. We think about it constantly, even when we're trying not to. In 1986, two psychologists named Jeff Greenberg and Sheldon Solomon developed a theory that would become one of the most influential ideas in modern psychology. They called it terror management theory. The argument was simple and devastating. Humans are the only animals that are fully aware of their own mortality, and this awareness creates a level of existential terror that would be completely paralyzing if we let ourselves feel it directly. So we don't. Instead, we build things. We build cultures that give us a sense of meaning that extends beyond our individual lives. We build monuments that will outlast our bodies. We build legacies through children, through art, through achievement. Everything humans create, Greenberg and Solomon argued, is in some way a response to the knowledge that we will die. The pyramids, the Sistine Chapel, every book ever written, every song ever recorded, every child ever born. All of it, in some sense, is a species trying to cheat death, or at least trying to matter beyond it. They tested this theory in dozens of experiments. In one study, judges were asked to set bail for a hypothetical prostitute. Before the task, half the judges were asked to write about their own death. The other half were asked to write about something neutral. The judges who thought about death set bail 9 times higher. 9 times. Simply reminding humans that they will die makes them cling harder to the values and structures that make their lives feel meaningful. This is not a quirk. This is the engine of human civilization. But why us? Every other species manages to live and die without this particular burden. What happened to us? The answer comes down to three things. The first is the prefrontal cortex. Your brain has a region that no other animal has developed to the same degree. It allows you to think about the future. Not just the immediate future, not just where the next meal is coming from, but the distant future, years from now, decades from now, the moment you won't be here anymore. In 2019, neuroscientists scanned the brains of people simply asked to imagine their own death. The prefrontal cortex lit up immediately, not the emotional centers, the planning centers, the future modeling centers, the exact same regions that activate when you plan a trip 5 years from now. Your brain processes your own death the same way it processes a future appointment. No other brain on Earth does this, because no other brain can hold the concept of future non-existence long enough to file it as a real event. The second thing is language. Death is an abstract concept. You can't see it coming. You can't smell it or touch it before it arrives. To understand death as a destination, you need the ability to build abstract models of reality in your mind. You need words. Without language, you can respond to death when it happens. You can grieve. You can recognize the absence of someone who was there. But you cannot sit quietly on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon and understand that one day this will happen to you. Language gave humans the ability to build that model, to hold it in their minds, to share it with others, to pass it down through generations. The oldest known poem in human history, written 4,000 years ago in ancient Mesopotamia, is about a king who watches his best friend die and spends the rest of his life trying to find immortality. The very first story humans ever wrote down was about the fear of death. That conversation, whenever it first happened, was one of the most consequential moments in the history of our species. The third thing is time. Humans have a relationship with time that no other species shares. We remember the distant past. We plan for the distant future. We can locate ourselves in a timeline that stretches far beyond our own experience. This is what researchers call mental time travel, and it is almost certainly unique to humans. In 2003, psychologist Thomas Suddendorf at the University of Queensland published research showing that great apes struggle to plan for needs they don't currently feel. Humans do it automatically. You save money for a retirement you haven't reached. You buy insurance against disasters that haven't happened. You write wills for a death that hasn't occurred. There is even a word in Portuguese, saudade, that describes a deep longing for something that may never come back. A language invented a word for mourning things that haven't even ended yet. No other species needs a word like that. So what do we do with it? Because this knowledge, this awareness, is not a gift. Not exactly. It is the source of our deepest anxiety. It is the thing that wakes you up at 3 a.m., sometimes for no reason you can name. It is the shadow behind every goodbye that might be the last. But it is also the source of everything that makes us human. Every person who ever held someone they loved a little tighter. Every person who ever looked at a sunset and felt something they couldn't explain. Every person who ever decided that today was the day to do the thing they had been putting off. They were all responding to the same knowledge. The knowledge that this is temporary, that everything you love will end, that you will end. In 2012, researchers at the University of Missouri found that reminding people of their own mortality made them more generous, more creative, and more connected to the people around them. Not less, more. Because the awareness of death, when we can bear to look at it directly, doesn't make life feel meaningless. It makes it feel urgent. It makes right now matter. Every other animal on this planet lives entirely in the present. They don't carry the weight of knowing what's coming. They don't spend their nights thinking about the end. You do. And that burden, that strange, terrible gift, is the reason you're reading this right now. It's the reason humans make art. It's the reason humans fall in love. It's the reason humans look up at the stars and wonder what they are. No other animal wonders. No other animal needs to. Because no other animal knows that one day the wondering will stop. You know? And everything you've ever done with that knowledge, everything you've ever built or loved or created or said to someone at the last possible moment, all of it is your answer to the oldest question your species has ever faced. What do you do with the time you have? If this made you feel something, subscribe. Every week, we answer the questions you forgot to ask.